Good evening, everyone. We are now in the regular session. The board was just in a work and executive session upstairs, and we will start this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would please stand with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And it looks like we have some minutes to approve. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Bevan, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Apache?
Yes.
4-0.
All right, so we are going to move swiftly into item number 5, which is our superintendent's presentation. Dr. Cooper.
Yes, thank you, President. We are going to jump right into the first thing we do each month in superintendent presentations is we have something we started this year, and I give Tracy and her team just such great credit for this and appreciation, but a wayfinding moment. And the wayfinding videos are a way for us to go fly into someone's story, to lift that story up, and to share it, making a large district feel small. So, Tracy, you want to take it away?
Sure. Tonight's video captures a powerful Mason moment that exemplifies comic culture and inclusive excellence in action. I'm just going to let the video speak for itself.
What is your favorite game to play on the Nintendo? Mario Kart.
All year long, in Mrs. Hollowell's third grade class, a quiet kind of magic unfolded as Mason Elementary's students and staff learned from one of the most powerful voices in the room, Priscilla Liu. Using her eyes and a speech device, Priscilla led with courage, connected with empathy, and reminded us day after day of the true heart of comic culture.
Priscilla has taught me and our class so much this school year. A lot of them have just grown close to her because they want to make her feel included. They want to make sure that she's a part of the room. I think that helps them with their life skills too. She's taught me that no matter, what your differences are, that you have so many other abilities that you can show in other ways.
What's something you want other kids to know about you?
I care about others.
What are you going to miss about third grade?
Playing with Priscilla and having so much fun with her. Because she's really, fun to play with because she can do a lot of things that even I thought that she can't do, and she's really cool to have a friend like that.
What do you hope to be someday?
A doctor. Being kind to others is good, so they can also be your friend. Priscilla is my friend. This is what she's in a wheelchair, and that's really cool.
Is there a message that you'd like to share with anybody who's watching this video?
Be kind.
Tracy, thank you so much for bringing that story to us, and Priscilla and Mrs. Hollowell for sharing that with us as well. What a powerful story, and what a delightful to hear other kids and their friendships. Just share that. Thank you.
I watched Priscilla at Field Day, and it really was a delightful experience to see kids thinking through. They were taking turns excitedly imagining how they would do some of the adapted activities with her, and it really was everything we could imagine about inclusive excellence. So just so grateful for our staff and our families that Mrs. Liu was also very excited to have Priscilla highlighted today.
Wonderful. So If you have ideas for future stories like this for us to share, please, if you're watching or here tonight, share those with us, because we're always collecting stories and trying to share those out to help make a large district feel small and connected as a community. So thank you again. Our next presentation tonight for superintendents is why we have many guests here. And I'm going to move over to the podium and we'll get started with our recognition. Hey, I just want to congratulate you. You may not know this, but you were selected as the Big Rock Teacher of the Year. So, Linnell, we are so proud of you. You do so much. You go above and beyond. You're the most thoughtful person. I mean, you are just kind, but you're also just such a solid. You live out everything that we believe in, and so that's what means so much to us. And so, the staff, the administrators, we looked across. You are the one. So, Linnell, congratulations on being our Big Rock Teacher.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. No, you are so deserving. Hey, can I interrupt for just a second? Are you guys cool with that?
You can say no.
So I brought some friends with me really quickly. It's all good. So you were selected as the Big Rock recipient for me this year. We're just so proud of you.
Thank
You
you.
live it out. You live comic culture. You go above and beyond. You love our kids, and our kids love you. So I just wanted to honor you.
Your teacher's the teacher of the year.
Congratulations. It's called the Big Rock Teacher of the Year Award because she goes above and beyond, does amazing things, and who loves Mrs. Anderson?
Hi, sorry.
Class, we have exciting news.
Timing of this is perfect. We walk in and on the screen we are talking about comic culture. And truly that is something that Mr. Fish is a leader in our building.
We were going to surprise you. We don't have any kids in here right
I
now,
don't
so we
right
won't
now.
interrupt your class.
No.
But you are the recipient of our Big Rock Award this year.
Wow.
Hey, Mark, if I could have everybody's attention, thanks. Mark, this is all about embarrassing you. No, I'm just kidding. We are just thrilled to be here for this moment. Just to let you know that we talked a lot about who's going to get the Big Rock Award for our administrators this year. Typically, we do this at the admin recharge, but we felt like this was a special year for you to be a part of the celebration. We want you to be there at our board meeting. So, Mark, you go above and beyond. You're like, we're not sure if you're human. I mean, you're that good, and we are just, that's why this has been such a big process to try to find multiple people to try to take your role. So thank you for your commitment to our district. We love you to death. You're So we each year look for someone to recognize for a Big Rock Award, someone that actually lives out the comic culture, building meaningful relationships, going beyond. So you are our Big Rock Award recipient this year, so congratulations. Manny, you have gone above and beyond this year, loving people, caring for people. I've done that. I wouldn't.
That's why I didn't tell you, man.
It is my great pleasure. You are well deserving. I think the team would all agree. You go above and beyond, you care for people deeply, and you care about what you do, and you do it well. And we appreciate that much. So, yeah, appreciate it. Wow, that is so fun to rewatch the surprises, and we'll get our woohoos up to the craziest level as we go forward. Thank you for bringing the energy. What I'd like to do now is, before giving the actual rock to the Big Rock Award recipients, I just want to share some of the words from your administrators in your building or your department and some of the things that they had to say about you. So our first is Linnell Foley. Linnell Foley at MECC. Your building just loves you to death, and Linnell brings people together with energy and empathy. She is the first to step up, especially when it comes to staff culture events. She's often showing up with creative sparks for everyone with a joyful heart. Beyond events, she supports colleagues deeply in meaningful ways. When a teammate faced difficult seasons, Linnell quietly provides meals, rides, support, exactly what people need for students, and cares for our students and our staff as well. As one of the colleagues shared, Linnell is an energetic member of our building culture committee and brings contagious joy to every interaction. So Linnell, congratulations on being selected this year. We're going to go ahead and, Linnell, if you would come over here, I want to thank you. I'm going to have you sit right over here, and then at the end we'll get a picture of everyone. Is that okay? So, yes. Good hand. Our next recipient at Mesa Elementary, Katie Kessler, we're honoring you. Here's what your staff said about you. And you could see this even in the video. You just have a humble spirit, yet you are such an influential leader that unites people with a quiet strength. You are the glue. You are the intervention specialist, department glue, bringing people together. She collaborates with teachers, administrators, counselors, and families, and she puts students first. Her leadership style isn't flashy, but it's deeply felt. As one of the nomination folks that nominated you said, she is amazing and never seeks credit. You are a difference maker. Katie, congratulations. Please come in. You would have a seat right over here. We'll get you guys all together. Our next recipient is Chris Anderson. Chris, besides the energy, the dance, the cheer, and everybody loving you, as you saw in the video, here's what else they said. They said, you are just a joyful inspiration and a force at Mason Intermediate. Chris leads the 6th grade science department, and she serves as one of our LIFT team leads. She also helps design engaging lessons that are shared throughout the building. She radiates positivity, cheering on her students all the time. One of her key signature phrases is, "Kiss your brain." Her way of celebrating curiosity, effort, and joy, all the things that we love here at Mason City Schools. One of her colleagues shared, Miss Anderson brings an infectious, positive energy, a deep love for kids, and an unmatched ability to connect with others. Chris, congratulations on being selected this year's Big Rock.
That's the science teacher right there. That's the science.
Use your brain. That's a wonderful curiosity question. We love
Ship
it.
a piece off.
Moving on to our next, at Mason Middle School, we have Marty Fish. Marty Fish, this is what your team shared with us. Marty is a visionary educator whose creativity and heart shapes our future. Marty redesigns his curriculum constantly and is always making more relevant, engaging, real-world changes to the learning in his classroom. But even more impactful than his commitment to the building belonging, Marty co-led the Neighborhood Navigators program, which is a program where students are welcoming other students and families, building that leadership and connection with personal tours, breakfast meetings, and genuine connections. As one of his colleagues said, Marty doesn't just think about excellence, he builds it every day and everywhere and intentionally with heart. So Marty, one thing I'll share, in Marty's classroom, he also builds curiosity because one of his students asked, Well, if this is such an important award, why are you just giving him a rock? I'll tell you what, it put me right on the spot. We didn't have it in the video. But it's the foundation of everything. We want it to be solid. So thank you for everything you do.
I'll be sure to show him.
My favorite moment. Over here, we'll get you all together. Yes, please let me know how that goes. I have a feeling I'll run into that young man. Amanda Bross, you are selected as a high school Big Rock Award recipient, and here's what the staff said about you. Amanda is a cornerstone to the English Language Arts Instructional Leadership Team. She leads the writer's block, and I have a copy right down here from you. We'll look at that later today. And does an amazing job empowering students' voice and creativity. In her 19 years at Mason, she has consistently modeled excellence, collaboration, innovation. She is respected not only just by her colleagues, but by students alike. She is a top-notch, high-impact player in our building. Amanda is well deserving of this award. Amanda, congratulations. Moving on to transportation. Bill Schuessler has been selected, as you saw in our video. Here's what your colleagues said about you, Bill. You are a leader who has quiet strength that is unshakable. You are always anchored to your values. Bill leads by example, combining honesty, accountability, and a deep sense of service. As he leads and coaches the other drivers at transportation, he shapes culture in a very grounded way with integrity and growth at the center. With a Boy Scout background, Bill's service mindset shines through. Whether he's at a Mason event offering helping hands and supporting other colleagues or behind the scenes, Bill is a steady force who lifts everyone up around him. Bill, congratulations on being selected. Stops thinking about common culture. We were just out there. I was trying to get him a cookie, and he was talking about how he builds common culture right into his interview process. So I'm always thinking about it. Our next recipient is from operations, Manny Guzman. You've been selected, as we saw in our video. Manny thrives behind the scenes, where he works tirelessly to improve the lives of students and the staff, and he's always focused on what matters most, and that's our kids and our staff. Last year, when a beloved coworker had a death in the family, Manny was asked to conduct the funeral of the services. He stepped in, he owned that moment. He was nervous, but he did it in such a way with care, collaboration, and love and honor, and it was beautiful. It spoke volumes about who Manny is as a person. He goes above and beyond and cares for people with a full heart, humility, and a deep respect for his team. Manny, we appreciate you. You have been selected. Come on down. All right. Our district administrator that was selected this year, we typically do this during our summer recharge, but we wanted you to be here today with us and celebrate you. Mark Merzenowski, you've been selected, as you saw in our video as well. Mark is committed to creating an environment where both his staff and students feel safe and respected and empowered. He doesn't just lead in the front office, he leads from the field. When situations arise, Mark has literally just ridden the bus and been there with kids to ensure that they get home safely, and I've seen this in person. He's a listener, he's a collaborator, he's a doer. When challenges arise in transportation department, Mark actively seeks input from all voices and ensures the decisions are inclusive, thoughtful, and center on the community and the students' needs. Mark, you are amazing. We're not sure you're human. As I said in the video, you go above and beyond. You amaze us, inspire us. Mark Merzianowski, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here tonight. You've been selected as well. Come on. And for our final Big Rock recognition, I believe I've made it to number 9. Each year we select a community partner who we believe when we talk about Big Rocks, we talk about culture, we talk about inclusive excellence and personalized learning. When we think about our community partners, we look at who is owning the moment, who steps in and fills in where we have needs. And this is a partner that I am thrilled to recognize who does this over and over and over, never looking for recognition, but steps in ways that I don't even know sometimes. And Todd's always sharing with me, and others are sharing with me. And this year I saw firsthand where this came in handy. And I gotta say, our students owe all the thanks because we were able to get back in school and not have any additional snow days because he stepped up and his crew helped remove the most amount of snow I've ever seen in my 10 years here. Rob Middleton is, the Middleton family has long been a part of the Mason community with generations of commitment to comic culture. Whether it's through their time, their talent, or their treasure, this family, this business has always finds a way to say yes and step up and own the moment. They are the embodiment of the adapt and adjust that we talk about. When many of us were stuck inside on that snowstorm, they stepped up and cleared lots well into the night and early morning hours. He is someone who has always supported us. His support extends far beyond the storms. Over the years, they've stepped up repeatedly, helping us with concrete projects that need addressed for safety, especially when we're in a pinch, and they've taken care of that. Rob and his entire team at Middleton Construction, RE Middleton Construction, we want to thank you for your kind partnership, the way you step in, the way that you have held excellence in Mason for generations. We appreciate you, Rob, and your team. Congratulations. Stand with our board right here with your rocks, and then we're going to cast sides off.
The second row.
Yeah, we may need it. We may
bring everybody up a little bit because
Come on down. My allergies are like I don't care.
Been in the fall for 3 days.
yeah, stand like right here.
Yesterday.
Go ahead. Yep.
Sorry.
Hold on. We have one more.
Yeah. Didn't change the whole toilet.
Slide this way. Yep.
If you want to take a picture, family.
That'd be great. All right, thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you all.
Good job, Mark.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Bill.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Congrats.
All right, we're going to do one more recognition before we take a break, and then the board may have some words they want to share about any of the thoughts on this. So let's do one more, and then I'll get out of the way here. Our last recognition tonight is a special one for us each year. This is something that this award started in 2015 in honor of Mr. John Odell, who was a beloved educator and board member. who had battled cancer and courageously battled cancer through that. And so this was in honor of John, embodying innovation, perseverance, and team synergy. So each year we try to find people who live this out in a way that really embodies what we call the spirit of the comment. So this year, Jim and Mary Lee Vinnemeyer are those that we are honoring. And let me just read a little bit about these amazing people. Each year when we award the Spirit of the Comment to one or more of our staff members, it's a person who reflects this spirit that we talk about each year, of the Spirit of the Comment that is contagious, that spreads throughout our district. Someone whose name would be found in the dictionary under Mason quality. This year we honor two people whose presence is a bright light in our district constantly. That's Jim and Mary Lee Vinnemeyer. Jim and Mary Lee are more than just staff members. They're ambassadors of the Mason vision. They have deeply committed their life and their careers to helping students discover purpose and potential, whether it's through performing arts, photography, digital storytelling, and so many other love of the performances and music. Their leadership has brought to life unforgettable moments like the performances at Taste of Mason, Drama Club at the Mason Intermediate Building, and collaborations with Cincinnati Boys Choir and many other experiences in the same service. Jim and Mary Lee, you are a true gift to Comet Country. Your legacy is woven into the lives of students, staff, family, and we are inspired over and over by what you bring to our community. Congratulations, Jim and Mary Lee Vinnemeyer, for being the recipients of the 2025 Spirit of the Comet Award. We appreciate both of you. Thank you very much. You and your family is here to celebrate this with you. We're going to get a picture with you guys.
I know. Yes. All right.
Thank you both.
Thank you, guys.
Then you don't have to carry those around. I'll turn it over to the board if you have comments, questions.
It's hard to follow up all the words that have been said, but just to keep it brief, I just want to thank you all for the example that you set for all of us. We talk to our students who we recognize at the meeting. Often we talk to them about setting the bar high for their fellow students. You set the bar high for your fellow staff members, but for all of us, and reminding us just what it means to live a life and dedicated to Mason quality. And we just can't thank you enough from the bottom of our hearts for all you do for our community and our learners and other staff members. So congratulations. Thank you for being Comets. We're so lucky to have you all as part of our staff.
Yeah, this is one of the best meetings of the year for us every year. And, credit Jonathan and the team, I think, since bringing kind of the big rocks to Mason several years ago, and then kind of incorporating that into an opportunity to recognize what makes Mason so special, which is all of you and your colleagues who have been, recognized over the years, and the standard that you set, and just the special moments that you create for all of our students and families. It's really just so gratifying to be able to just share this moment with you. As to Mr. Fish's student, as a kid of the 90s, when I see these rocks, I am immediately, envious that you all get a piece of what to me is like the aggro crag from the Nickelodeon show Guts. If anybody ever saw that, you know, I would have died to take a family vacation down to Universal Studios and get to climb the aggro crag mountain to win one of those. So please display that proudly in your home, on your mantle. And
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Well, just briefly, I know so many kind and true words were spoken tonight, but we are lucky to have you. And I think what is a big impression on me is, you know, I heard someone had tenure of 19 years, and to have that energy and that spirit and, you know, excitement still, you know, the spark that to make it interesting. And you got a new class coming in August, and we are just so blessed to have you be part of this team. You're what makes Mason so wonderful. So thank you. Thank you for being here tonight too.
My colleagues have said it all. It's just thank you. There's not enough thank yous for sharing your extraordinary gifts and talents with this community and these students. You know, people often wonder, like, what does a school board do? We make sure that extraordinary people like you have an opportunity to impact kids' lives every day, whether it's on a bus, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's helping them learn to read. You are the people that these children will remember for the rest of their lives. And so we are so grateful that you do all of the things that make this place what it is. And so, you know, we just want you to know how much we value you. And it's not The Rock per se, but just know that we are so deeply grateful for your contributions. And, you know, as you come back, or for those that are retiring, Mark, Jim, and Mary Lee.
Not Jim yet.
Not Jim yet.
Not
Not Jim yet. Not Jim yet. Almost. We just want to tell you that you leave shoes that are hard to fill, and you set the bar really high. And so we thank you for leaving that legacy here with us, because that means everything. We know what greatness looks like because we've had you guys. So to all of you, thank you, and we hope you have the best summer ever. So appreciate it.
Before they take off, I want to thank their families for being here tonight. I know you're a part of that team, and for our administrators, for all of you for identifying and supporting all of these players. So thank you all for being here.
So here's a moment where we usually pause for those that want to exit after the superintendent's presentation. You are more than welcome to stay. We have very interesting things to discuss, but we understand if you have to get on with your evening, and we thank you again.
Thank you all.
We didn't lose everybody. We kept a few. It's always good to just see some eyeballs staring back at us. Okay, so we are on to item number 6, hearing of the public. Tracy, do we have any hearing of the public tonight? Anyone?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you so much. And we will move to item number 7, superintendent recommendations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And Dr. Cooper, would you like to walk us through this
Yes.
hardy?
So
Trot us through.
We're going to try to move through this at a good pace, but this time of the year, this is one of our largest personnel item recommendations, because it is the time of the year that we are hiring at a very, very rapid pace. I will mention to the board members you do have some notes that tell where each of these folks are teaching at and their grade level. Those aren't going to show up in these notes, but you have those for in your board notes as well. So just in case you want to reference that at a different time. If you go through the agenda or the spreadsheet here that Tracy's working on, the first section is our administrative personnel contracts. These are contracts either being new administrators coming on. You'll see transportation director. It's an interim just for a minute, and then starting the full contract in August so that we can get Adam Clary, who is here this evening in attendance, and we're happy to see that. He's going to come in and work with Mark in an overlapping succession plan to make sure that he sees the end of the year, the summer, and the beginning of the year. Those are some critical times for us, and so we want to make sure he was able to come in and get his eyes on that. And he has great experience, so hoping to see some good new ideas coming from him as well to support us. You'll see other administrative contracts on there. These are administrators who are up for their normal contracts, and we have 1- and 2-year contracts on our agenda tonight. You'll scroll down in the agenda. You'll notice that we have a lot of folks that are either getting ready to, they're hiring for the first time, or they're coming here and they've been teaching in other districts. That's in section H. Lots of new teachers coming on. And one of the things you'll notice here is we love experience, but we also love to keep an eye on our budget overall. So we do try to get a mix of brand new and also experienced teachers, depending on the position, depending on the dynamics of the team. Our principals are the ones really shepherding that. Dr. Blessing helps to oversee that as well, and looking for somewhere in that average ballpark of 3 to 5 years is what we're trying to keep that in, just so that we are also watching our total budget. So you'll see that in here, and that represents that. But we are so excited to welcome these folks. I get the great privilege of meeting each and every one of them, so to hear their stories. There's a lot of work that leads up to this point, so I want to give all of our teachers, students, and administrators lots of credit. We were over, Dr. Brennan and I were over in the middle school, and they had everybody stand up, I think, all the staff who were participating in this process, and I think it was more than half the staff was standing up, because our teachers help to select and give input on all of our new hirees. So just appreciate all the time, because a lot of times that's after hours time that we're using. The other 1 year in HB section, these are our teachers that have been here that are continuing contracts. So you'll see that on here. Some are 1 year and 2 year. So those are listed on here. And there's quite a few, so you'll see that scrolling all the way through the section. If we get down to, give me 1 second as I scroll down, because this is a larger. Once we start getting into section J, and I think even, in section J, you'll start to see summer work begin to show up. And a lot of the summer work is work, instead of pulling folks out of the classroom, we try to allocate resources and time for them to do that work together during the summer. Dr. Brennan and her team work with our HR department to make sure we get this correctly aligned here, but you'll see maximum hours. They calculate approximately how long it's going to take to do certain projects, and then they put a maximum hours. That doesn't mean we're going to use all of those hours, but we want to make sure we approve it now, so that when the folks start working on their different projects, that we're honoring that. So you'll see everything from curriculum work to screening that happens over the summer with preschool and special education. So you'll see all of that as you go through here. You'll see ESY and J, section JE. You'll see ESY, which is extended school year instruction. So you'll see lots of different names on here for both classified and certified staff. The only other thing that I really want to make sure that we point out in here is we have lots of certified staff, I think in sections L, and then I don't know off the top of my head the other section, but lots of sections where folks are retiring and moving on to their next phase of their life. And so we're super excited for all the folks, I think it's section L and U maybe, that we just love to see that people have given their careers here. They've invested just like you heard tonight, but now they're getting to go do other things in the next chapter and their world. So congratulations to everyone that is moving on and retiring and eligible to do that. I think that's it for tonight. There's a lot in here. If you have any questions about anything, I'm happy to answer those. But for the most part, I think I've highlighted at least a handful of the opportunities here.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper.
Thank you.
I just want a quick plug. all the hire. People were wondering about the interim opportunity for Principal Messer. This is it, right? So we knew we were going to have a wave of new hires external to the district to help culture build and integrate a lot of these brand new teachers, having someone like Eric Messer to help culture build across the district. It was an intentional practice on our part, so excited to see that plan come together as well. Any further commentary? Seeing none. Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Apache?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes, but abstain as to H, Section B. All right, on to item number 8, new instructional resources recommendations. This is a first reading, so we don't need a motion, but any discussion as to these items?
Yeah, all I'll say is we have, for the folks that may not know, we have 10 superintendent committees. We have an academic student achievement committee. And during student achievement, Dr. Brennan and her team bring teachers to actually share with us the different updates in curriculum. So all these have been shared, looked at by that team. That team has parents and teachers and administrators and students that join us for review. And so these have all been reviewed. If anyone that is out there watching would like to look at any of these materials closer, we definitely encourage you to reach out to Dr. Brennan, myself, or any of our board, and we're happy to get those materials to you, and so you can take a look at them. The way it works is this is first reading. The next reading comes up in June at our June meeting for our second reading, and then that will be an approval vote to move those forward. And but yeah, great work. You can see everything from preschool to high school, and exciting new opportunities for our kids as well.
Dr. Brennan, any comments on any of these?
No, they are a mix of preschool curriculum was part of state updates, and so this is one our team is excited about and is on the state approved list and continuing one they've used before. Math is part of an ongoing review and is actually extending what we have started in through 6th grade this year. So it'll be a really nice continuation, and we had teachers at the secondary level piloting it this year. Science, you'll see, and also for world languages, these are actually resources for new courses that were approved earlier this year. So that's step 2 after the new course is approved, to really look at what are the materials that will meet that need. And then social studies is our AP government course, which is just part of the 6-year cycle typically for purchasing resources. And so those are due up to be renewed, and they are continuing, just getting the more updated editions of what have been used for quite a while now in that AP government class. And again, as Dr. Cooper said, happy to, the proposals are all linked here where you can learn a lot more about any of those resources. And also happy to share and take a look at the actual books and resources as well. Just feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Dr. Brennan. Any further commentary?
Yep, one exciting thing is to see the American Sign Language course and the materials for that. It's kind of neat too that we just approved a second ASL teacher. So it's just really cool to see the groundwork that's been done and the growth in that program and the interest of our students in a really developing world language. So that's really exciting to see.
Indeed. Further comments? Seeing none. Sean, please call the roll.
This is just
it's first reading. I'm
Yeah,
so
you're
sorry.
good. Nope, you're good.
Muscle memory. Thanks. Yes. Item number 9, superintendent's recommendations, action items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commentary.
Okay, there are a handful. I'll walk right through these. The first is Applied Behavior Service Agreement. This is a service agreement for a couple students who just need additional support, and this aligns with special education support services. The second item on here is an approval for a new position job description, which is a transportation lead coach. We are going to be interviewing for that, or we are interviewing for it now. I think it's posted for basically a driver or someone internal who wants to move from a coaching position to a lead coaching position to facilitate continued support with culture that you heard tonight us talk about with transportation, and also support Adam as he's coming in as a new director of transportation to support that role as well. So excited about this new opportunity, but that's what we're approving tonight is just the job description itself, not a person, because we're still interviewing. The person will still stay as a sub driver, so it's not a brand new FTE. It's someone that's going to be repurposed and reallocated for a little different position. Warren County ESC is a contract with Royalmont Academy specifically, so we also work with Warren County ESC. This is specific to Royalmont. I believe this is a paraprofessional support contract. Hamilton County ESC is also a contract with Royalmont Academy. Royalmont Academy and other privates that are in our area run their contracts through our agendas, but that is their specific agreement. So you can read more about that by clicking in the details there. The item E is actually an agreement for the City of Mason to use our parking lots during the 4th of July celebrations here, the Red Rhythm and Boom celebrations. They use mostly the ME, MI, and high school, but I believe it overflows into the middle school parking lot as well, if I recall.
And that also includes this year their fireworks.
Yes.
Our attorneys reviewed this closely.
And they shoot the fireworks right over there by MEMI, so it's a great place to, usually a beautiful demonstration there. But we do block off that whole parking lot for safety. The LHC school bus rental agreement, that's Liberty Heights Church, they actually reached out and they rent and pay for our school bus services for a summer camp. So that is something that gives our summer drivers an opportunity there, but also they pay for that for a local service for their kids. And then the final piece on here is item G, which is the special education model policy and procedures. The state is always working and updating their special education model policy and procedures. I think this one's been going on for maybe 3 or 4 years. So if you look into the details, you'll see that. Jody Bergman and team review this. They make all the adjustments most likely while they're actually adjusting it at the state level, and then the state finally catches up and gets it all documented, wrapped up, and sends it out to districts to adopt as the model. But we already have, it's not a change to anything we're doing. It's in alignment with what we're already doing. Honestly, they probably are looking at our services and building a lot of their models in alignment with the things that our folks are doing. Our folks do a really good job. So that's all we have for recommendations tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. I will highlight that we are approving contracts for the privates in our area, private schools. So, that's a service that we provide along with others to the private. I don't think there's any charters within our district, but it's a service we provide for them. So, any further commentary? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Abachi?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
4-0.
We are moving to item number 10, Treasurer's Report. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bevan.
So a couple things. We have the monthly financial reports for March and April on the agenda. That would be items A through E. Item F is our 5-year forecast, spring version of our notes and assumptions, as well as the forecast, which I'll talk more about here in a minute. Item G is changing a fund name. So we had one of our student activity funds used to be called the Video Games Club, and we are changing that name to align with the current description, which is esports. And item H is donations, which we're always grateful for from our community partners and individuals that help support some of our programming. But before we vote, I did want to take a minute and expand a little bit on the 5-year forecast. So 5-year forecast is something that we approve a couple times a year, and it does serve various roles and functions. So the forecast, first and foremost, is really a planning document. The board obviously knows this, but for anybody in the community who's watching, it's a planning document that we use really all throughout the year. It's not something we just look at twice a year and submit to the state. It is really something that we use to kind of plan for future expenses. Another piece of that is just compliance with what the state requires. So we have a 5-year forecast. We submit it once in the fall and once in the spring. This is our spring update version. But one of the things that has really we've been watching closely over the last few months is House Bill 96. So House Bill 96 is the current state biennium budget, working its way through the process. So that started in February with the governor's proposal, went to the House for their version of it. They have approved their version. sent it to the Senate. So right now it's in the Senate for their hearings and review, and they'll come out with their version here in the next few weeks. Then it will go to conference committee before the governor signs it into law at the end of June. But one of the reasons that we're watching that closely is that there are multiple ways that this House Bill 96 could impact the district and it could impact our finances. And so this forecast does reflect some of those potential changes. So as the House Bill 96 sits currently, based on the version that the House approved, there is something new in there that the House introduced, and that is the concept of a reserve or a cap on the amount of cash reserves that school districts can have. So currently that reserve is 30% based on the House version. And so the reason that's significant is that in our general operating fund, that means we could not have any cash in excess of 30%. And so we've been watching that closely over the last few months. And so what this forecast does show is that if that 30% gets approved as is right now, we would need to respond in some way to help protect the investment that our community has entrusted to us. And so 2020 was the last operating levy that our community passed. And so we are still utilizing those funds. About 2/3 of our funding from our general fund comes from our community. And so we would need to take some kind of action to, again, to protect that investment. And so basically what that looks like in this forecast is that we would redistribute or reallocate some of the reserves that we have in the general fund and move those to some other fund. It could be a capital projects fund or a debt service fund, so that we could use them in that fund. This is not an ideal scenario. It loses some of the flexibility that we have right now. And really, if you look at our forecast, you'll notice that 83 to 85%, depending on the year, of our budget is spent on people. And so we are a service business. We don't produce widgets. We don't have inventory. So that is our number one expense, is just our people. They're our biggest asset. And so moving these dollars and redistributing those to another fund kind of takes away the flexibility of us to invest in our greatest asset. And so, again, not an ideal scenario, but we're kind of working with the rules of the game as they are right now according to the state. And so we'll kind of see how the budget works out over the next month and see where it lands finally. But this is kind of a step that we're taking based on where the budget's at right now. So that's in there, and we'll continue to keep everybody updated as we go through the process.
Additional comments, questions? So while not finalized in the Senate portion of the discussions, can you just talk about maybe some of the things that you've heard coming out of Columbus in the Senate version of HB 96, specifically pertaining to the guarantee?
Sure. So the guarantee is also a significant factor for us. We get about $36 million of state foundation funding per year, and this year about $14.5 million of that is from what they call the guarantee, which basically means that if the guarantee was as a factor went away tomorrow, we could potentially lose $14.5 million. That is something we are not, our forecast actually shows flat funding, so we are not assuming that that is the case, but that is something that's in discussion, something we're always watching. It's the guarantee is a kind of a hot topic and has been for a number of years. So that is always something that we're watching, but that is another factor as well. I think I did fail to mention the dollar amount that we're looking at. So this reallocation, redistributing of funds is actually on line 5.01 in our forecast, if anybody wants to look it up. It's about $24 million, and so again, just trying to protect the investment our community has made.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Sean, on the guarantee, just to briefly explain what that is, the idea is that we wouldn't lose state funding year to year in light of the changes to the tax funding model that looks at the quote unquote affluence or ability of the local community to pay for their own schools, right? So they look at Mason and say, you local voters, property owners in Mason can afford to pay more. So the danger is that they would take away that money and say, no, Mason community, you can afford to pay more. And so we appreciate what you all are doing to help preserve that state funding, because we use the word guarantee, but it sometimes feels like the word entitlements or something. But that is Mason money that's going to Columbus in the form of income taxes, right? So it's not a gift from the state. And they would be telling us that we need to turn around and get that money from our local communities instead. So we appreciate all you're doing to help make sure that funding is preserved. And just wondered if you wanted to clarify.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the guarantee, the way that the state funding formula works is that the state will, they run some calculations and scenarios based on local property values and local income values and number of students and all those things, and they come up with what they determine to be a local community's ability to fund their own schools. And so based on that formula, the state would say this year, they would say that we should get $14.5 million less than what we're actually getting. And that's where the guarantee kicks in. The guarantee says, okay, well, even if the formula says you should be getting less than you're actually getting, we're going to guarantee that you won't get less than what you got last year. And so in our case, as we have property values that continue to rise and income values that rise and our enrollment's not growing, the state basically looks at that and says, okay, well, the community should be paying more, except for the guarantee that's in place. Now, one of the things I will say that's important to note, we've looked at this a little bit over the last couple of months, is that if you look at the amount of state funding per student that we've received, it's been flat over the last 10 years. We're receiving the same amount now per student as we were 10 years ago. So we look at the guarantee and say, well, you know, some people around the state might say, well, get rid of the guarantee and don't fund the schools money that they shouldn't be getting. But, you know, really we've been getting the same number for 10 years. So it's not like we're getting, you know, big increases from the state, any kind of help from the state. Again, as I mentioned, 2/3 of our funding comes from our local community, and they really are the lifeline that we have. We're just trying to, you know, fight and make sure that we're not losing any additional dollars from the state.
And could you just speak real quick? We're not voting on moving any money, any funds
Right.
tonight. Just to kind of talk about the process and why it's showing up in here. Yep. and how it will play out over the next month.
Thank you. You're exactly right. No actions being taken tonight. All we're doing is approving the planning document that we have. As I mentioned, this forecast is something that we use for planning purposes, and so this is the best plan that we have right now based on the information we have at this time. And so the House version has this in there, and so this is kind of the plan that we are rolling with right now. No action to take. We'll kind of see what plays out the next month or so. If it ends up in the same version as it is now, then that we need to take some kind of action to reallocate those dollars, then that would require another board vote at the June board meeting. So as of now, it's just a plan. Hopefully something changes in the state budget and House Bill 96 and we won't need to enact this plan, but it's something that we're watching closely.
Well, again, thank you for all the advocacy
Sure.
you're bringing to bear to try and make that happen for our community.
Yep. We'll touch more on this in the legislative update, but I do like how Tracy frames this. We are a net exporter of taxes to Columbus, so what we get back is not, it pales in comparison to what this school district pays up. So to think that, you know, we're begging or anything like that, we're just asking to be made somewhat whole from all the things that we help fund in Columbus. So any further commentary? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Ms. Apache?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
4-0.
Okay, we are on to item number 11, committee reports. And we will start with arts and activities.
We were able, so Laura and I know, but we are sworn to secrecy, the plays for next year and our musical, but you cannot find out. But what I will tell you, another piece of news that is fantastic, this year's performances earned a lot of Cappies recognition. They'll be noticed next week at the Cappies, and actually our students who were performing in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. Well, if you were lucky enough to watch that, they're going to be doing a small snippet at the Cappies Gala. So we can't wait to see what they'll come up with next year, but I'm excited to continue to honor all of the good work that was done this year.
Awesome. Excited to see what's coming. And we'll go to business advisory.
Yes, business advisory. We're blessed to have great business partners showing up. We have our XLP program give an update each time we meet. They give an update they're working on some new technology and experimenting with artificial intelligence to be a career counselor. We're still working out some of the details there to make sure that career counselor AI solution is safe and packaged in-house, so that when they're interacting with them and getting good ideas, that those ideas are staying safely in our boundaries. So that is amazing to see our kids just innovate in that way. We also had Sean did a phenomenal job of giving us an update on where the 5-year forecast and the impact of HB 96 and other things might have on it. Got some feedback from our folks as well on just what we should be thinking about from a business lens and how we should be communicating that. Anything else that we covered?
That was it.
All right. And then back to Tracy for Diversity Council.
At our last Diversity Council meeting, we talked a little bit about Level 2 peak moments and got some feedback around that and student voice, and then did a little bit of reflecting and pre-planning on our Windows and Mirrors and Windows events, which of course culminated in last night's incredible AAPI event. Many thanks to all of our school IE team leaders, our student leads, our diversity council members, many members of our exec team, and of course our board as well. It was a phenomenal showing. We had, I think by our count, nearly 500 folks in May, which is hard. This late in the game, we were a little bit nervous about what that would look like the last week of school, and it definitely shows just gratitude and deep hunger in our community to celebrate culture and to celebrate diversity and know what that looks like as a community. So many thanks to our fantastic food partners, Birani Pot, Poke 96, and Twin Dragon, who all of that food was really sponsored from our Mason Schools Foundation, who continues time and time again to just really lift up how we celebrate inclusive excellence. So many thanks to all of you for helping to just showcase what's really part of an important part of Mason culture.
Thank you, Tracy. Finance Committee.
Finance Committee met. We looked at a couple different things. A lot of it was the 5-year forecast that we just looked at. For anybody who doesn't know, the forecast goes through a thorough process each time we look at it. We work on it internally, then Finance Committee reviews it, then it goes to a full board work session where we talk about the whole thing again, and then we bring it here tonight. So that was just one step in the process of looking at the forecast. Also, obviously, talked about House Bill 996 and the current status of that and potential impacts of that as part of our Finance Committee. Last thing we looked at was just some health insurance trends. Our plan renews September 1st, and so this is the time of year that we're starting to look at projections and how the plan is running and what we think where we think we're gonna end up. So that was also a point of discussion as well.
Thank you, Sean. And back to those wonderful Mason Schools Foundation.
Mason Schools Foundation had, I think, what our MSF board would consider our favorite meeting of the year, which was when we look at the grants that the grant committee selects and hear snippets of those grants and then get to approve it. We approved 18 grants for next year that total a little bit over $75,000, and that leaves us, we always have a commitment that we want to give back really over $100,000 worth of funds just for our schools to be able to, and teachers, when they have an idea and a project that is coming to them, to be able to take action on. We want them to be able to do that. And so we continue to kind of have funds available on a rolling basis that we evaluate every month. But we love giving this time of the year a big push. And there's a lot of work that goes in over the summer even, where people will hit the ground running with some great new ideas, thanks to some really above and beyond educators who had an idea. And we were just grateful to get to be a part of that. So all the people who give every month, or like at graduation, the class of 2025 gave over $7,000 to earn their class on that thing. All of those donations at our fall event this year just go back to helping make sure that we get to fund those kinds of grants.
Awesome stuff. And last but certainly not least, Student Achievement Committee.
We talked about most of it already. So the vast majority of our time was hearing from our teachers about the instructional resources that we see the proposals for on tonight's board agenda. And just a thanks to them too for the time they put into really thoughtfully selecting materials and writing the proposals, and then coming to our committee meeting and answering lots of questions. We had a lot of great questions from our committee members as well. At the end, we just heard a few snippets of ideas around potential new courses. So is another thing that the committee typically does in May. These are often ideas that teachers are having around potentials for new courses. They might end there, or they might end up developing into something further. So heard an idea at middle school around an elective around the history of food, and then at the high school for a new math course, data science, and a Spanish elective course that is in Spanish, film and culture. But I took French, and so I'm not going to stretch my pronunciation skills. So again, got some just good insights, things to consider as we decide next steps for those ideas.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brennan. So that concludes committee reports. So we'll move to item number 12, legislative update. That goes to Dr. Cooper.
All right, legislative update. You have heard us reference it a few times, but House Bill 96 is going to continue to dominate the conversation for a while. So just want to run through some important dates for people to know if you are tuning in and you don't have access to these dates. Today we're still in May. May 20th to be exact. So here's what we have coming up just to keep an eye on. The 26th, there's public testimony in the Senate Finance Committee, which is over House Bill 96. So if there will be some discussion there, but it is a much bigger bill, so there'll be lots of things discussed there in the 26th. We've already had public hearings and testimony from public schools, private schools, and other K-12 entities twice now. So if you haven't seen those are all archived on the Ohio channel. So if you want to watch them, you get a good sense of the back and forth and the questions they're asking. June 3rd, the sub-bill is introduced. So June 3rd, we will all be tuned in to find out if our advocacy has moved the needle, and I believe it probably has. I'm going to be optimistic and say that it's going to move from 30% to 50% and make us go back and adjust our 5-year forecast. But that's just my optimism right now. I'm hoping that's the case. If not, then we'll address the other issues as we need to. On June 6th, there are going to be amendments for the omnibus bill that are due then. So if there are adjustments that are going to be made, those are due on the 6th. And then on the 12th, there is an official vote in the Senate to send that on to conference committee. So that's the timeline that we're watching. So June will be cooking, as the kids say. It'll be hot right then. We'll be watching that closely. Then when it goes to conference committee, that's when the House and the Senate both will have a discussion, their leadership teams, most likely with the governor at the time, and make final negotiated agreements in that bill. And then we will see the final version of that right around June 25th. And then the legal deadline for signature is June 30th. So just so everybody understands how quick this is going to happen and what we anticipate. Here's a couple things that we're hearing. Sean's mentioned these, and you've heard President Orr as well say some things about this. But the 30% cap is what we've been watching closely. So the House version has a 30% cap. That's the truth that we know today. That's why we're making the adjustment transparently, talking about that in our 5-year forecast. That 30% causes districts to make decisions that we're not wanting to make. And so that's why that's a big deal. It's kind of micromanaging the dollars that we have budgeted for the future. And so that's what we're watching. What we have heard is that the president of the Senate is not a huge fan of the 30%, but they are big fans of the cap. So the cap concept will most likely stay. We're hoping to see it move up to at least 50% or higher. Our auditors, who has led, the Auditors Association of the state is led by Matt Nolan, our very own Warren County auditor, and he and the team that he leads has proposed a 30 to 100%, a 50 to 100% range on that cap. Their proposal just came in, I believe, not a handful of days ago, and they're asking the Senate to consider moving that up to 100%. Or some range between there. So if that happens, that would change the game a little bit for us. There's still work to be done, but that would be we would love to hear that. One other development that happened in the Senate last week is Senator Blessing, who is the vice chair of the Education Committee, sits next to Senator Brenner, proposed a whole nother version of this. Okay? Yeah, not Brennan, but Senator Brenner. My mind is going quick. But that new version that he has proposed. It's interesting. It flat funds us, I believe. Sean did some calculations in his update. But fortunately, I'm invited to have some lunch with Brenner tomorrow, or not Brenner, but Blessing tomorrow, and hopefully, and not Dr. Blessing too, but Senator Blessing
No
will
relation.
be. A lot of close references here, but Senator Blessing, just to hear his thoughts. The reason I don't know that that's going to go forward is because right now his proposal is $160 million increase in FY26 to the House budget's proposal. So the House budget's proposal is $100 million in FY26. The executive, what the governor put out was $31 million, just put in reference, and this new one that's developing is $260 million. So I don't think that's actually, but some ideas that he has in there would be good for us to know what's going on. So we'll find out some more tomorrow in that conversation. But those are all updates on what we're hearing, and we'll continue to keep everybody posted on that. And as we learn more, we'll share that. But we are hearing some good things that President McCauley does agree that there needs to be some change. We're hoping it's north of 50% or higher on that cap. There's other things going on. A lot of other things going on. This is the one we're watching closely because it has the largest impact on our staff and our community. But there are lots more going on, from cell phone bills to bills that would require us not to be able to talk about political campaigns or levies in the 30 days leading up to. That's right out of our local community with Representative Matthews. So I've been on the phone with him talking about just kind of his thoughts behind the why behind that. So I'll update you more as I learn more and that becomes more relevant. Thanks.
Dr. Cooper, just thank you for your steadfastness in trying to keep up with the fire hose and rapid pace changing nature of this omnibus bill. I don't think people understand fully yet the impact that these changes could have. We live this, so we are intimately acquainted with the ways that this would completely transform our ability to have people like this stay in education and deliver the quality that we've come to expect in Mason. So thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for building those relationships and bridges. And don't stop. It's not over yet. So you can take a break after June, and we can figure it out. So.
And Jonathan, real quick, can you clarify your meeting tomorrow, your lunch meeting with Senator Blessing tomorrow, just to put a fine point on the influence that you bring to bear?
So Senator Blessing, so I get a call. The way it works in our world is once you build those relationships, and we're a big district that people respect, they give, I'll get a call and says, hey, we're pulling together 5 superintendents and Senator Blessing. He's not one of our direct, he's not out of our county, he's out of Hamilton County, but he wants to know what our thoughts are, and he knows that we're discussing this. He knows Sean Bevan is on top of this. He knows Matt Nolan is in our community. So they invite us because they just want to hear our feedback on it. So we're fortunate to be at the table. That's not always the case, but we have to keep those relationships open because he's a vice chair today. If he becomes chair tomorrow, you want to make sure that we have at least an open communication line there. Even though we don't always see eye to eye on everything, he seems to be trying to work out some ideas that would keep things a little bit more common sense for public school funding right now.
Thank you.
I think people don't realize that, sometimes you want the whole loaf, and sometimes you get a half a loaf, and sometimes you get a slice of bread, right? And you just want to do harm mitigation sometimes because the way our legislature is in Columbus, they can pretty much call their own shot. So we just try to make sure that they understand that the decisions they make have real tangible impacts in places like Mason, where I think we're a super high functioning district. But we'll leave that for another conversation. So we'll move on. Item number 13, administrator commentary, and we will start with Mrs. Carson.
Nothing for me tonight.
We'll move on to Dr. Brennan.
Just a big congratulations to our Big Rock winners and the Venemeyers for the Spirit of the Comet Award winners. They, as I listened tonight and had a chance to celebrate some of them, they just represent so much why it's such an honor to be able to serve in this community. So, and I can't believe it's May and that the last day of school apparently is coming right up. So to them and all of our staff who've just made so many powerful Mason moments for our students, for our families, and for each other. Just a lot of gratitude tonight.
Thank you. Dr. Blessing?
Good evening. Congratulations to our graduates. That was exciting on Sunday to be a part of that. And also congratulations to all of our retirees. They're going to be getting a special delivery tomorrow. So if they're watching, I'm looking forward to being able to congratulate them with Tracy. So, and also happy Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Christine?
I want to congratulate our award winners, our graduates, and also wish everyone a happy, safe summer.
Thank you. Mr. Petrie?
I too would like to congratulate our Big Rock winners, Mr. Mrznowski, Mr. Schussler, Mr. Guzman, and of course Rob Middleton. I consider myself real lucky. Any success I've had here is absolutely due in part to some of the great people we have in operation. So just congratulations to them and Amy and her team, the exec team, for thinking up these types of things. It just creates a great environment, and it's so appreciated.
Thank you, Todd. Sean?
Just thank you to all of our staff for another great year. Best wishes to our families and staff for a relaxing summer. Congratulations to our award winners, and that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Just congratulations to spring sports. We have, just so you know this, all teams in the spring, well, all but two, but are GMC champions. So baseball, softball, boys, girls track, tennis, boys lacrosse, I think playing right now. Volleyball came in second in GMC, and ladies lacrosse, girls lacrosse came in fourth. We are right now in line to win the All Sports GMC award for the 18th year in a row.
Our GMC domination can vote.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's 18 years in a row. So that
Greater Mason Conference. We should just rename it.
Mason. I'll throw that out there with the president, or I don't know.
Bulletin board and
hey, listen.
I mean, you put it out there that they're definitely going to be coming after us. They also recognize that, just to put it in perspective, no one's won it 18 years in a row. We're the only ones to do that. However, Princeton has 19 total. So we have the record with consistency. We just need to get one more to put us on the top with, and then maybe the 20th.
So once we started, we just haven't stopped.
Once we were in
2007.
invited
Been
into-
ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing, I've never thought of it, what the GMC, now I know.
Yeah, see?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper.
And wish everybody, our staff, 3 days. 3 days, our staff is amazing. They're going to make it. We're going to make it. I'll be out there in the buildings the last 3 days, just shaking and just making sure, congratulating and keeping people up for the last 3 days. So we got it.
3 days.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. On to our last item, well, second to last item, 14, board commentary. We'll start with Mr. Galvin.
Well, I want to pick up from something that Jonathan said, about our influence in the state of Ohio. You mentioned that we're a big district that people respect, and while I think both of those things are true, I think it shortchanges a little bit the work that you and your team have done to gain a foothold and be in a position to influence our legislature. I don't think that the invitation tomorrow is simply because we're a big district. There's lots of big districts around the state, a lot bigger than us, that don't have nearly the sway that we do. And I think it speaks a lot to the way that you conduct yourself, the thoughtfulness that you put into the relationships that you build, and the advocacy that you focus on, Dr. Cooper. And so I just want to make sure that those out there that, if you don't know, now you know that there is somebody, it should not be taken for granted that we are among, a few that are having, direct conversation with, somebody as influential as Senator Blessing. Yes. Yeah, tomorrow. So, between now and June 3rd, he's got, how many days?
Right.
to decide, who to spend time with and listen to and things like that. And so I think that, we've seen, I think in our community, sometimes the things that we view as, sort of big issues here in Mason and here in Warren County, for whatever reason, it doesn't always translate up to Columbus. A lot of times it can be frustrating. I think that we all advocate for local control, and I think every time somebody runs for state office at some level, they pound the table for local control, and it feels like people want local control on issues that they can't get state control over, and vice versa. When they're in the catbird seat at the state level, they don't really have a problem steamrolling over local control at lower levels. And so while we sit here and figure things out on our end, we know we'll be well situated, or as well situated as you can be, to react and respond to whatever comes down the path for us. So I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to just highlight a couple events. I had the opportunity to attend our Military Recognition Day earlier this month. I believe we have 8 students who are enlisting or going into ROTC programs, or enrolling in our service academies next year, and making the conscious choice to serve our country. And that's always something that I think is a special moment in our district. They were highlighted yesterday at our graduation ceremony, but I think it's a phenomenal milestone for those students, and appreciate the work that our American Legion does to highlight those students. And Mr. Charpentier there is one of those that makes it a point to highlight those students as well. I also wanted to highlight the first time I've gotten to attend a Comet Savings and Loan Board of Directors Day, and holy cow, I have been to a lot of events. I've gotten to hear about a lot of extracurriculars and clubs and sports and accomplishments that our kids do, but that was the first time I've gotten to see one of those, and it was especially moving because it was the sort of the last one of those with Cindy Donnelly as the outgoing I don't know, CEO, founder, president, all of the above, of that program. The emotion in that room, I think, was heightened because of that. But the kids, this room, I don't think I've seen. Well, I have seen this room a little more full, but every seat in here was packed, and those kids,
Happy full.
Yeah, they were presenting like absolutely just polished professionals. Every one of those kids that spoke, I turned to somebody and I said, you could hand these kids the keys to any bank branch in this, tri-state area, and feel comfortable that they would be able to walk in and, run the place. They just were incredible. And it's something where you see something like that, and you are reminded that, this district and this high school is a really unique and special place, because that does not, we have legislators that are, pounding the table, and aspiring gubernatorial candidates that want to, make sure that students have financial education in our public school curriculum. Come spend a day watching that, okay? And you'll see what's going on in our schools, and it was just so impressive, and just a real testament to the personal investment that someone like Cindy Donnelly has made into our district, and the lasting legacy that her ideas will have for generations to come, and all those who got to be a part of that program while she was there. And the work that they did to build upon that year after year, it's really exciting. And I don't know if my kids, I'll do all I can to kind of push them towards, you know, participating in that. I don't know that they'll take, but it was a really cool thing to see. And then I also got the opportunity to see one of our Comet alums, Amelia Moran, daughter of Brian and Casey, who are the chairs of our after prom committee, was one of 6 graduates at the University of Dayton ROTC program who's going to be a commissioned officer. And of the 6, the only female graduate this year. So a very, very impressive achievement, and very cool to see, you know, the service. If you know anything about the Moran family and the, you know, the work they do to put on the after prom program, which was a hit again this year. I got to go see that at the community preview night. Took my kids there to wear them down because my wife was visiting some family, so I need a little extra help with getting them to bed. That is a special program and a special experience that family has, you know, created here for all of our prom attendees, and something that hopefully, I know a couple of you guys have had the opportunity to volunteer at, and you know, have attendees at yourself and know firsthand how cool that is. And so just a night when we're recognizing all of our Big Rock winners and, you know, Spirit of the Comet winners, I'm just reminded of how, you know, from the outside looking in, this place maybe seems like this big green M, you know, monolithic public school experience, but it is truly an aggregation of personal experiences, personal talents and time and ideas that build into all of the, you know, experiences that make Mason so great. And it's just a humbling, gratifying experience to be able to sit on the board with you all here. So that's all for me tonight. Happy Memorial Day also, by the way, to those who are looking forward to a long weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Galvin. Mrs. Batchy.
Well, an agreement I made with Matt to keep it brief.
If I break my own agreement.
Yeah.
Right. I think Mr. Galvin.
I withheld during a lot of the discussion tonight. I had nothing from Meade quite a few times. So.
No, I want to show or express my appreciation to Sean. I know that your role right now is a little difficult with the uncertainty of what's going on, you know, in the House and the Senate. So thank you for preparing us with solid plans of how we will survive, and just having something in place and adjusting and adapting it every time, you know, a change, you know, is going through the House. So thank you for that. It was a pleasure to just see our role model teachers and administrators and service workers this evening. You know, just so many of those folks are the ones that, you know, our kids will remember when they're our age. So very special people. And I guess that's all for me tonight. Yeah, look at you.
Sure. Listen,
It was a full meeting, so.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
We're almost to summer. The countdown's on. I'm ready.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Congratulations to you too with your graduating daughter. I know that's a big emotional day. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was a big day. It was a big day. Vice President Steele.
I will break my pledge to be super brief, but just because there's so many things to celebrate, and I just have to say them because it's been a while since we had a meeting. But AAPI Heritage Night last night was fantastic. What a crowd! It's always such a joy to serve food at that and just see the joy walking by and interacting with everybody. After prom, thank you again to the Morans for all that they do. I mean, I don't know how they're human. I think they're robots. There's got to be some battery in there. And for next year, I'm telling you, if you're not signing up to serve at that, you are missing out on a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So I got to help with the hamster wheel blow up thing, and I was kind of regretting doing the blow ups because I feel like I tend to have to do the inflatables at all the events, like at MECC. This was so much fun to see these high school kids barreling down the gym floor and racing, and I got a lot of exercise. Next time I will be wearing shorts and a gym, like a t-shirt, because I sweat a lot. It was a lot of fun. And then just thank you again for the opportunity to recognize so many of our staff tonight. One, I just wanted to call out, I didn't want to do it, put her on the spot, but Chris Anderson, I've been lucky enough for all of my kids to have, be on Team Ingenuity and to have Chris Anderson as a teacher. And today, to start my day there with her, and then to end it tonight was really special. She's a fantastic educator. And then two, you reminded me, Tracy, that Hadestown occurred since the last time we met. And as a musical theater kid myself, I tried to tell everybody that I could. I saw a lot of the performers after prom that night and got to tell them in person. But I had tears in my eyes throughout that performance. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating to say that performance could have been on the Aronoff stage, but it's true. It was phenomenal. So just thanks again to all the adults and families who helped make that happen for our kids and for the phenomenal talent. I am sorry for anybody who didn't get to catch it because it was incredible. So I just hats off to that team and to those students again. And just happy summer, happy last 3 days. Like Jonathan said, you can make it. Enjoy your summers and well-earned rest and catch up. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steele. I guess I'll try to be brief. We'll see how that goes. Graduation is the culmination of a lot of things for not only the high school but the community, and it's such an awesome moment to be able to have your name and walk across, said out loud, and you walk across that stage to hear our families cheer for their graduates, cheer for other graduates. I am particularly fond of this graduating class, but it couldn't happen without those folks behind the scenes that make sure that the names are pronounced correctly, which is huge, and that it goes smoothly, and that rehearsal goes smoothly. So I just, one of the big joys of being in this seat is to be able to participate in that huge day and moment for those students and our community. And so, wow, Sunday was a phenomenal graduation. So, I mean, single out, Brandon Rompies, who does a fantastic job making sure everything is on track and on task and choreographed just the way it's supposed to be. So thank you, Brandon. The Day family for all they do in organizing tickets and making sure folks have the things that they need and it's accessible. But I think part of the reason I love it is because it shows the depth and breadth of what we do. We have students of all abilities, of all kinds, language, religion, and they all get to walk across that stage and be called a comet for life. Once a comet, always a comet. All of these wonderful experiences that Charles has talked about, that Matt has talked about, that Desiree, Connie, celebrating these wonderful educators, that happens here, and it's not an accident. You can't accident your way into greatness. You can't do it. That's not how it works. There are lots of people who have invested their time, money, and intelligence and effort to make this place what it is. And so that's why we become so protective and defensive when people who aren't here, and some who do represent us, try to tell us how to do what we've done. It is harmful. It is hurtful. We take pride in being here. We choose to be here. We approve the levies to give us the money to give the students and staff the resources. The Mason Schools Foundation, how many public schools have committed community members to raise funds to go above and beyond what you get in a typical setting? We are setting the pace and the bar for what education could be. And so it really pains me as a parent, as a taxpayer, and as the president of the school board to see that without deep consultation or consideration, I have to say, because we do get consulted, but consideration that they would make such sweeping changes or propose such sweeping changes that would really alter how we do what we do. We're still going to do it. I want anybody that's listening to this know that we are committed to Mason quality. I remember when Dr. Cooper first got the nod, and we had some conversations. I wasn't on the board, and he was talking to me about the Big Rocks and team of teams and all these strategies. And to sit here, 7 years later, and see that we have Big Rock Award winners. You know, for those who don't know what our Big Rocks are, inclusive excellence, culture, and personalized learning. And so these individuals represent what that vision is. And so we can award them now and say, hey, we see that you're doing the things that we've asked, and you're going above and beyond, and we give those grants for $75,000. I can't say it enough, and I will just beat this drum until it's broken. This is a place you come to serve and educate your children. And so you can have the military service. I know some seniors are taking gap years to figure it out. All of it, we personalize it to each and every student and their ability. We had special needs students walk across that stage with their aides and their paras, and they were giving them their diplomas, and they were walking them across. And it just, you can't imagine the commitment that all of this takes. And we can critique until the cows come home. We are not perfect, because we are not perfect people, but I wouldn't want to serve anywhere else, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So my call to action for whomever's listening and watching, I know there's a few people in the room, call your senator, write a letter, organize your friends. These changes would be harmful to this district. They just would be. They would be harmful to all public schools, but particularly a high-functioning one like this. And so if we can get the cap to move up, and we can get the guarantee left alone, that would be beneficial. But any way it goes, I trust the people in this room to figure it out and continue to deliver the Mason education and experiences that we've all come to know. I want to say, thank you to all the educators that have touched every student, not just mine, but everyone, because they're going to have a great summer and great memories and be excited to come back to school or be ready to go to the next level in life because of what you've done for them. So we don't often highlight nationwide our teachers, so I'm glad that we do here because they deserve it all, but you guys do too. You guys do too. So thank each and every one of you. We have a new member of the team who, thank you for all you do to get the new teachers in the doors. So, your tenure and cohort starts now, and I'm looking forward to see those individuals. But I'm just really grateful to be here, and I hope we can continue this Mason quality far, far, far into the future. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Yes.